Okay. Welcome to our weekly team call. Tonight's topic is how to create traction through Instagram stories and call to actions. And we just really, we have some examples that we want to share with you guys, and we just kind of want to talk about it, but then we want to have an open discussion and see if anybody else has any ideas. But we really just want to make sure you guys are utilizing your Instagram stories, and also you can use it on Facebook stories. I never remember to re-upload everything to Facebook. But I know there's a lot of coaches who do, because I see it and then I think about it and then I forget. So just some different things. But this was actually Amber's idea after a call she had, so I don't know.
With Mary.
Oh. But so basically, as you guys know, we've talked about this a lot. Your social media is your storefront. And that being said, it's really important that you have eye-catching photos and that you are talking on your stories and that you're getting people's attention. But something you want to think about with stories too is a lot of times people don't necessarily have the volume on. They're listening to their stories at work or whenever they're out or at a coffee shop. And it's also really awkward. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this, because I don't turn my volume off or down. And so I'll be at a really quiet coffee shop or just be somewhere standing in line, and all of a sudden I'll listen to somebody's stories and it's they're shouting and then people look at me. So a lot of people listen to their stuff with their stories off. So if you are spending a lot of time talking on your stories, whether you're inviting people to your groups, whether you are adding value through talking, make sure that you are adding text, and we're going to show some examples to that, and just reminding people, be sound on, because they have all those cute little GIFs you can add to your stories as well. And text, but it is really important to make sure you are doing that. And stories are such a great way to add value. And I think more people are actually watching stories these days than reading posts. So it's something that you need to make sure you're inviting on every day. And if not every day, every other day. So we just have some examples. I'll share the ones that I made really quick. And these are from some different coaches whose stories I really like. Okay, I have multiple things. Do you guys see? Yes? Yes? Okay, so, and I wanted to show you guys a few different ways to do it. And one thing you will always see is, because Bree does a lot of talking stories, but you always see her adding some sort of text or font to build hype to whatever she's saying. And one thing that, because I know not everybody here has a big IG following, and that's completely fine. But the cool thing is Instagram has come out with so many features for you to interact with people, whether it's polls, whether it's this little question box. But if you don't have that swipe up feature and you're talking about your challenge group, keep adding this little text box right here. And it can say your email here. So if you're talking about your challenge group, if you're talking about coaching, whatever it is, that is a great way to interact with people and to do that call to action, because a big part about a call to action is not just talking about it, but it's inviting to it and making sure, whether it's a poll or whether it is a swipe up feature or whether it is this little question box, that they have a way to do that call to action. And I also wanted to share, I love Amanda makes just the cutest stories. She cultivates hers really well. Also Meredith Ganau does. I didn't take examples from her stories because I just now thought of that. But that's another fun way to add value. Amanda's taken pictures from retreats, her workouts, her home, going to classes, and she just adds value that way. And then she talks about enrollment being open for her next boot camp, and they have the countdown thing that I just started using recently. That's really fun. And then it's a fun way of making it prettier. So this was my stories the other day for a challenge group call to action that I was doing. I was want to train with me in May, nutrition focused. And so I just talked about what I talk about in a post. And then I did swipe up. But again, you could say drop your email, do whatever. And then I shared transformations you see Eden, whose transformation I love. And I like just talk about how you could keep watching from the sidelines or you could get results. It's way more fun. I talked about creating your own transformation. I talked about one of my clients. And so there's so many different ways that you can do this, but it's a really interactive way, and more people are going to probably see it on your stories than through your posts. And even if you are talking about something in a post, you can reiterate it in your story and vice versa. You can turn a story into a post. But if you want to share more examples, say you do a call to action post on your feed, then you can also do it in your stories and you can share more. Find a different way of like adding value. And then I took one more. Again, I have Amanda's on here. She was talking about her boot camp. We start Monday, and then it has the countdown, the link. You can also do the link in bio thing too. Redirect people to your link tree in your bio. And it also talked about the boot camp details that she does. And, you know, like I love this because it's very pretty, very visually eye-catching. And then somebody else's stories who I love all the time and who I took for an example is Haley Christian, because she's again doing this little like feature of having somebody like drop whatever.
Wait, I'm only seeing the first screen still.
You are?
Yeah, I didn't see.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know if that's just me, but I just realized when I was like, I'm not seeing that. And then I definitely don't see Haley.
Okay, let's see for this one. Do you guys see that now?
I see that now. Okay, cool.
Okay. So this is like Amanda's again. So her, just what I was saying with her stories, she took a picture, and then put text over it, kept it really pretty and very visually eye-catching, and she did the same thing. She probably made this in like Canva or Over or just a simple app that she did. And just, again, giving the information but making it visually eye-catching. And then Haley, so she did the poll over here, and then she did whatever. She did like the type box, and she has like the swipe up feature going, but it was like with a workout clip. So she said, hi, do you want to do this program with me 20 minutes a day, 6 days a week, 6 weeks? And then, yes, I need to start, or more info, please. So like there's always a yes or yes. And Amber and I've talked about that multiple times. Like, especially with doing polls, you want to make sure that you're not giving people an option to say no, because I mean, people are always going to be dicks and say no. Like that's just people, you're like, do you want to change your life? And they're like, no. And you're like, fine, whatever. Too bad for you. So I like to do a yes or like a maybe, or yes, but I'm curious, or yes, I'm in, or I'm interested, but I'm nervous, like giving somebody another option. Because even if they're not 100% sold yet, you are planting a seed. You are getting that conversation started, and you can work through those reasons why they're curious or why they're nervous or what they need to know in order to join you. So those were the examples I had.
And by doing it all the time, like if you're doing it daily, it's so easy. I know a lot of these look really pretty and detailed, but really it's just as easy as uploading a photo. Like there's a couple that she showed that Amanda had probably done in Canva, but a lot of these can just be done right on your phone with so quickly. And the whole thing though is like repetition. Like you might do this, you might experiment and try different things, but you can't just do it one time that week and then be like, okay, I'm good, I invited. Like it has to be kind of like all the time. People need to see things over and over again. That's just the way it goes in general. But I think stories move so fast. Sometimes I'll be like, that was interesting, and then I'll want to go back, and then I'll forget to go back. So that way, if you do it again the next day, or, a couple times that week, then those people that maybe were interested but like got distracted can like be like, oh yeah, I wanted to know more about that.
And one thing with that too is like I will make those and then I'll keep them saved in my phone. So I have transformation photos like saved in just an album in my phone, and I actually have an album on my phone in the photos section called like IG stories. So things that I upload repeatedly, whether it's like talking about like little descriptions like that with with transformation photos, with details for my boot camp that I've made or for coaching or for whatever the call to action is that I'm doing. But like sometimes it's funny because I just redid mine last week and I kept putting it off because I knew I wanted to add those to my story because it works. And it was funny, the first day I did it, I got one person to fill out the form, and then I did it again and I had like 3, and then yesterday I had 7. So, you know, it is like a repetition thing because people are going to see your stories. People are going to have different time, different day to like commit to like doing things. So, you know, every day it's going to be different, but it can just take time of going into, I use the app Over to create stuff like that because I can do it on my phone. Or like I even just do it in Instagram stories. So, because they have all the text options and everything in there.
I had also saved a couple. I was going to try to do a slideshow like Kate, and then I like couldn't. Just didn't happen. But I did take some screenshots, like some of my examples, some from Kate, and then some from the team just today. Like I was going through. So no, not playing favorites, just like went to some of the people that I know are working their business and show up consistently. But let's see. Do you share my screen? Hopefully she is going to be okay, not scream. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do mine first. So like I've shared this one before where this is like a coaching opportunity one. So, you know, obviously these polls can work for coaching or challenge groups. But my options were, you know, do you want to get, or the question was, do you want to get paid to get healthy inside out? Hell yeah, I'm curious. So as you can see, it was almost 50-50, but then I was able to go back in and message all of those people, like my little script. And then this one was just an example. Like I went back in my archives. So one day I decided to kind of tell my story visually through photos. So I just actually went through, Violet wants to talk too. So I went through my like favorites of my phone basically and went back to the beginning of my journey and just kind of like shared along the way. And it was kind of fun for me to revisit these memories. And I just like, I don't know, I think I was like rocking her to sleep or something, and maybe took me like 10 minutes to do this. So it looks like a lot of work, but it was just photos with a quick little caption over it. And then at the end of that, I think that's when I did the poll. So I was using this as like a way to, and then I was doing like a quiz. I don't know if you guys can see like over here, I was like, I forget what it was, like, am I happy in these photos? Yes or no? So I was like playing around with the quiz feature. And so that was that. So that was like obviously a stream of stories that day. And then, so then we'll do Kate's here. So then this was, I think this was the before and after photo that like made me sign up. Like, it was like, all right, I'm ready. I don't know. Like, it was just like, it was just like perfect. Just that day, like I couldn't wait to sign up. Like I had only been following her for a little bit of time. I think that was the photo. So there's Kate. So she has a swipe up option, but if you don't, then obviously you can do other things. This one, Kate shared. I love this. This is such a great before and after. So this is just like, doesn't have to be you. It can be someone on the team. It can be someone that you've worked with, another coach. I feel like if most of us are pretty cool about sharing our transformations in our team pages, you can find like, if there's photos shared in our team pages, normally it's fine. But if there's like somebody's before and after that you don't know, or they're not in your team page, just send them a DM and be like, can I use your picture? I've had people ask me and I'm like, sure. So like just out of courtesy, you probably want to make sure that you have permission. And then I did this one, which is kind of like, this is kind of like Amanda's, but not as pretty. So it was like what you get in your, when you sign up with me. And then the tonight was like flashing because it was a photo. And then I just did like the GIF and stuff over it. So that was when I was still back. I grabbed one from Amanda today. Sorry, Amanda, it's kind of like a weird screenshot of your face, but she was just kind of explaining. She's really good about being on her stories like all day. I love that she shows like all aspects of her life, like everything from school, hanging out with her boyfriend, her dog, meal prepping. Like she's very, very like present on her stories, but she does a lot of like graphics over too, which are eye-catching. Like we said, if somebody's listening with the sound off, oh, sorry. And if you have a lot of stories, like people might be like, speeding through them. And I know I do that to people that I like. It's not like it's nothing personal. Like people just go fast through stories. They don't listen to them all. So it's really important. Just another thing I like that she uses different eye-catching things to kind of stop you. And then I grabbed a couple from Shelby. Wait, which was this one though? Oh, this is Loaz. So she's talking about the 20th. So she's talking about her next coming challenge with a workout clip. So that's, you know, just that repetition of like saying the date over and over again. You really can't go wrong with that. People need to see. I think it's like they say that people need to see or hear something like 7 or 8 times before it like, there's like been studies done that's how long it takes sometimes for people to like really like hear something. And then I have a couple from Shelby, and they're out of order, but she had done some workout clips. So we had a call today and we were talking, and actually while I was talking to her, I realized like, oh, if I want people to sign up on the 20th, technically the last day for enrollment is Mother's Day. Will I let people in past then? Of course. But like, I want people to have like a full week so they can get their Shakeology. We can like prep that week. So I'm using that as like a way to talk about Mother's Day, like gifts for Mother's Day. Can we hurry up? I don't know how much longer I can talk here. So she did like, there was a couple on her story. And then she also did a poll. Again, there's not a no. It's like, I want to start today or maybe one day. So that way she's got potential people to talk to about whatever objections they might have. And then I actually learned from her today. I knew that there was this deadline thing, but I didn't know that you could get a reminder, tap to get a reminder. So I thought that was cool. So I copied her today. Violet hates this. And then this is like an example of, do you want this or no? You just want to talk? Okay, you talk. Tell them what's on your stories. So this is an example of somebody commented on my post and I just sent them the script. Hi, thank you so much for your kind words on my post yesterday. I'm excited that you are also on a journey to get healthy. If you ever want to learn more about my online health and fitness challenge groups, let me know. May 20th. Yes, please. That would be great. Like, this is such a nice response. And people aren't always going to be this nice, but this is just an example of how I don't make it weird. Like, she just commented. She didn't even ask about what I was doing. She just said, oh, I love that you're on a journey or something. So I just was like, cool, I'm just going to like reach out to her. Why not? And so then she sent me her email, and then I sent her my step 1 today. So that's how, like, that's basically the why I'm sharing this is it's like, that is how you're going to turn this into traction. Like, if you are sharing on your stories and if you are connecting with people and taking the time to send that little message, like, hey, thanks for the love. Thanks for voting on my poll. Thanks for whatever. Then they might not say anything back, or they might be like, awesome, like that one girl was. So, and that's all I got to say right now because she's dead.
But there's just tons of different examples and ways to get creative. And I think the biggest thing to highlight is like the repetition aspect of it. And it's just like anything else that you just have to continue to do it and know that people are going to see your stories on different days. The cool thing about stories is you can also always geotag your location too. So if you're tagging yourself in a location, other people in that location are going to see that story. So if you're talking about your challenge group, your upcoming group, you could tag the location so more people see that in your area. And you can use all the stickers and gifts. Like, I haven't used the quiz option yet. I just like saw that the other day on Amber's story, but there's like so many fun ways to interact with people now and start conversations. I also loved when Amber like went through her stories and like shared just different parts of her journey, because I think it's important to remember, like, people are going to follow you. New people are going to follow you all the time. People who have been following you for like even a month may not know your story from 6 months ago. They don't know where you started. So it's an important reminder to constantly be sharing that, because maybe where you are right now, somebody can't completely relate to that, but they may relate to where you were a month ago, 6 months ago, when you started talking about those initial feelings. Just that got you motivated or excited. But I think the biggest thing is like the stories are such a fun way to relate to people. They're a fun way to get people engaged and to have fun with it too, especially with polls. It's just, I think Eden talked about this one day. She did a bunch of polls, and if you do, and she like snuck one in there at the end, it was like, do you like curly hair or straight hair? Do you like dogs or cats? Do you like this? And then it was like, do you want to join my challenge group? Like, you like sneak it in there. I've seen Eden do a bunch like that too, just ways to like interact with people. I don't know, Eden, maybe you want to share. I'm going to call you out because I always like your stories.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I found that that's got to be kind of random when you do it that direct, when it's like, do you like this, not that, do you know, you can only do that every so often. I've also been doing with the poll option, doing a countdown and then a poll that just says click to join or click for details, because you know how you don't want to give them a no option, so it just says it across. So like the first box will be like click to and then get details. And I get a lot of feedback on that because literally they just click the area versus having to click an option about details or click to join or whatever you're talking about. That's been really successful. I really like that. And then I've also been doing like a series of videos where I'll do like a video when I first started of me, like an actual live video of me working out, and then I'll do one like to date, and then I'll do a before and after. And then I'll do I saw Brie Headley do this thing where she was like, do you want to do this like for real, right, for real this time, like no quick fixes, none of this. And I'll like do it in sections so the words pop up as you flip through. And then on the next screen, I'll do, again, like a click to join, but there's no yes or no. It's just like it says it all the way across, like a banner versus like maybe or more details. And I've been getting a lot of feedback about that, and I like that.
I didn't know. So Amanda just said, I discovered that Canva lets you do videos too instead of just pictures. I had no idea. So is that Canva on your phone? I don't use Canva on my phone. So I didn't, because years ago the app didn't work great. So can you explain that a bit?
The Canva app?
Mm-hmm.
Well, same thing. I kind of had a problem in the beginning too. But I have a newer iPhone. I don't know if that makes a difference, but even my old iPhone, it worked pretty well. But yeah, so like I just looked on Canva. They have different templates for like Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Facebook posts, flyers, whatever. And there's some that you have to pay for, but like if you're just using a picture, I just like screenshot it and then crop it and don't pay for it. So it's 100% free if you're clever in that way. But they have a lot of free stuff. And I just on my stories just posted. It gave you an option to put like 2 different pictures. One was a video, so it was like a workout of me doing my workout this morning with like a flexing thing, and I said, "You ready to do this with me?" with a poll. I just did that like in like 2 minutes just now, and I put that on my Instagram story. So I think Canva is like pretty much like the easiest thing now technologically advanced in any way. So yeah, that's all I got for Canva.
Yeah, I use Over for the most part for my stories. And I just realized the other day, because I hadn't updated that app in a while, that they also have like formats for Instagram stories, so you can make them like prettier. Like it'll show you like, it's like a featured layouts, and it'll do just different pretty, there's like different pretty backgrounds that you can add that fit like the story format. So there's just a bunch of fun ways to get creative with your stories, and I'm always trying to be better about that. Like there's people who really curate their stories, like Meredith Ganal's are always really pretty. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, she is a 5-time elite coach, 4-time elite coach, 4 or 5-time elite coach. She just joined the Million Club. She became a coach like 8 months before I did. But her Instagram is Boho Fit Girl, and her stories just are always very pretty, very well curated. She adds a lot of value through her stories. She talks about coaching. She's always inviting you to join her challenge group like every single day with a workout clip or something. So it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just very straight to the point, repetitive. And sometimes it does take a little time if you do want to spend a little extra time to like make those pretty pictures about how, just ways to like add value. What am I trying to say right now? I'm like brain dead. Ways to talk about what the group includes, the workouts, like those different things. I really do love Eden, how she shares her videos from when she first started versus now, because that's always really motivating and just a cool thing to share. And it's just a different way of sharing your progress. But does anybody have any questions? or anything they want to share? We flew through that really quickly. It's only 6:30.
I was like speeding because of a baby. I was like, oh, I gotta get my message out. I was gonna say that the nice thing about stories is like, yeah, you can make them really pretty and you can curate them, or you can just do them and get them up and have a typo, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, like, of course you want eye-catching stuff, but I just want to say that sometimes I have time to make it really pretty, and sometimes I just got to get my point across. And it's like, done is better than perfect is what I just want to stress. So I think with time, it's like really fun to make them really pretty, but sometimes I just don't want anyone to like let that stop them from sharing because they don't think it's pretty enough or something, you know? Like, so like I've always gotten I've learned a lot from Kate since I started because she was my upline. And then like Meredith, it's funny that she only started 8 months before you, Kate, because in my mind, I always thought she'd been around for like a lot longer, like when I first started. But she was somebody that I always looked at for inspiration. You know, we all have like our people that we like look at. Because I was just learning Instagram then. Like I had literally had did nothing with it before that, except for like vent or share alcohol or something. Or like sometimes hair pictures. But so yeah, I just think like the nice thing is you can archive your stories and you can like create highlights out of your really pretty ones. But it's okay if like there's a typo or it's not perfect because it just shows that we're human, and the nice thing is they just go away, or you can delete it and do it again. So it's like there's no wrong, in my opinion, there's no wrong way, which I like.
And they're gone in 24 hours too. So it's a fun place to like mess around with, and you can be like, okay, this worked well for me, this didn't. And then that's why I like, because there's a lot of days where I just don't have the time to make things pretty. But like some days when I do, I'll just sit down and then I'll add that to my little album in my phone that's like IG stories. So when I do need to, if I do want to do like a call to action for my challenge group or for coaching, like I have those pretty pictures that I spent a little extra time on, and then I can just re-upload them. And I'll upload the same thing that I uploaded a week before or a few days before, just because again, it's just like reminding people, and it's showing people like I may change one or two things, but I think it's fine to share the same thing and making sure though you're talking, because that's a really good way to relate to people too.
I was going to say that I feel like it does seem almost, I don't know, it's self-imposed to think that you can't reuse stories for some reason. I have, you know, keeping it fresh. I was even thinking today, I made some really good call to action posts, but really all I would need to do in using those again is just what I love about Canva is all I can do is just go change the pictures, change the date, reuse that whole format that I liked because it's already made, and just update the pictures. So that was cool. While we were sitting here, I just wanted to share today I did do something that Amber and I talked about yesterday, which was I've been doing a lot of workout videos, and I share the music that I'm listening to. Sometimes I like to write things, but I'd never really connected like a call to action to just being like, I can do that with almost any workout video that I'm doing. And I hadn't made that connection. So, but I did the sitting, the reach ups in Lift 4 today, and I did it while I was holding my phone. But I also did one where you could see my tramp stamp. So I just put up a poll that asked if everyone else has a regrettable tramp stamp. And then I made just 2 yes options. One was yes and one was yes, but in pink. So I think polls can be really fun and definitely don't have to relate like to anything to do with a call to action. But I think that that's where I can find people that appreciate my humor that I can then connect with.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, totally. Because we talk so much about being yourself and finding your people. And if you're showing like your humor and like, you know, that you're a real person while you're inviting, like that's when that person is ready to get healthy, they're going to remember you. They're going to be like, that's my person. That's my online friend. I want to sign up with them. But Shelby, thanks for telling me that. So for anyone that can't read the chat or watching the recording, Shelby said that some of her friends recently started following me and commented how painfully realistic I am on my stories. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't have time to redo that. Like today I like took a picture of her and she was being so cute, or a little video, and I had like smoothie on my mouth and in my teeth, and like I think maybe 2 years ago I would have deleted it and done it again, but now I just don't care. Like, it is what it is. I'm drinking a smoothie. It's on my face. Like, or sometimes I'm like, cool, I'll like do something, and then I don't know if it's the baby, like I'm just like, I don't have time to redo that, but I'll be like, my eyeliner's ripped off my face. Like a couple of years ago, you would not see a picture of me without my eyeliner on. So I don't know. But but I get comments like that. Like a lot of people reach out to me and tell me, like, thank me for being real. So I just feel like you're going to connect that much more the more honest you are.
And one thing I want to add with that too is, well, just like your social media, like you do want to have call to actions at least multiple times a week. You do also want to share your real life too and other things that you're going through, because that's what people are connect to, whether it's tramp stamps, whether it's the baby. I was like working outside yesterday, and then I posted this funny video of my cats yelling at me. And then 2 seconds later, I was walking, trying to go inside, and one of my cats ran outside and ran under the deck. And I shared that, and all these like, I can relate, but it's just funny things to like get people talking to you and like showing people the realness that's your life, and showing them that you're not all about, like, this gives you life. It's definitely a big part of your life. It's about sharing your lifestyle, but just connect with people in other ways. Share those funny, quirky things about you. Share how silly you are. One thing that I used to do all the time was I used to share a bunch of like jumping, like dance videos that people like loved seeing, and I need to do that again. But there are like so many funny ways to connect with people. Eden always posts these cute like little dance clips while she's mixing her pre. You know, and so do Katie. Katie does that too. And I always love those. So like there's so many just different ways to show people who you are. And it's just a fun way of doing that and sharing your life with people. But you definitely want to be doing it for call to actions too, because again, if you don't post a call to action every day on your, what am I trying to say? On your feed, you can do one every day on your stories, but you should be doing them if you're not doing a call to action even every other day on your feed, making sure you're hinting at things too. Being like, my next challenge group is starting here. If you missed my last transformation photo, make sure you go check out that photo and then click the link in my bio, or watch my stories. I was talking about my upcoming group today, or like always refer people back to what you're doing. And that's why knowing when groups are happening is always really important, and planning out when you're going to host your challenge group, how long, what it's going to be, so you can always like tie that in. Because even when I'm talking about life, I end up normally bringing it back to whatever else I'm doing with coaching. So.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two things I have to remind myself: one, don't ever overthink it. Like, especially the stories, goes away in 24 hours. Just reiterating a lot of this. So don't overthink it. What did Haley Christian say about sending? Don't be a bee, hit send. It's kind of like that. So yeah, don't overthink it. And then if you feel like you've told your story 100 times already, you should probably tell it 100 more times. And that's it.
And I think what's important to remember, especially with your story too, is like with the algorithm and how things are, people don't check Instagram every day, or even if they do, they may not see your feed, even if you felt like you've shared your story or shared this thing about your story a billion times. Like, those are the things that people need to hear. Those are the things that people are going to relate to. And just get out of your head and think, oh, everybody sees my stuff all the time. With the way Facebook and Instagram is, that's just not the truth anymore. So you just need to, like, when you're posting it and you're worried, if you're worried about what other people are going to think, and what, like, oh, my friends are going to see me inviting again, or oh, my friends are going to see me talking about my superfoods again, or my workouts again, or people are going to think I'm vain because I'm talking about my results. Like, stop thinking about those people. Most of the time, they don't see your stuff anyways. And then, like, honestly, think about all the people who you are going to help with this. When you're nervous about that, like, think about, instead of worrying about the criticism that you might get, or maybe that you have gotten, because guys, if you've been in this business for a while, we've all gotten criticism. I know I did. I know Amber did. I know Eden has. I know Katie has. Like, I know Amanda has. So, like, no matter how long you're in this. If you're getting criticized, it means you're doing something right, because it means you're talking to enough people and you're sharing enough. If you're not, like, you just got to up what you're doing, because you're going to get criticized. But instead of worrying about that, instead of worrying about people being weird and people being rude or what people are going to think about all the people who you could help with this. Think about the people who are where you were when you started. Like, this is what really moves me when I am inviting and when I'm doing these call to actions, instead of thinking, oh, well, I just posted this again, I don't want to be annoying. I'm like, no, what about the Caitlin that was in her shoes 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago, that was really struggling with, that was like really unmotivated, that couldn't finish anything she started, that just really wanted to feel good in her skin? Think about that girl and think about what I needed to see in order to say yes. So instead, like, I just wanted to cover that part of this too, because I know sometimes we get in our head, we overthink things, we worry about what other people think, we worry about criticism, we worry about all those things. I really just want to change the narrative around that and think about all the people that you can help. Think about how you needed this and how you are going to help more women who are like you. So.
Yeah, and to add to that, Kate, like, I'm so glad, obviously, that you talked about your journey, because then that inspired me. And at the time, as somebody that was using social media, like I think most people, not for business, not for anything, just for, I don't know, to kill time, I never once thought, why is she sharing that? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, so think about, like, your coach. Like, who did you sign up with? Did you ever think, like, ew, annoying? You were like, wow, that's so inspiring. I wish I could do that too. Like, think of it that way. Like, you are going to be that to someone else. And when someone tells me, like, well, I don't want to be salesy, I'm like, do you think I am? Because I'm like, you signed up with me. Like, do you? And they're usually the answer is no. I'm like, well, then you're not, like, it was an opportunity that you wanted and that you took. And, like, you should just think of it that way.
Or even if you already, I think about Bree's story, how Bree followed Amy. She was so unhappy with her life and knowing that she would have to get a cubicle job, and she was so tired of seeing Amy's results and Amy's awesome life that she was like having some haterade, and so she unfollowed Amy. And then she would go creep on her stuff before she joined, and then she was like, fine, I'm gonna like, so even if people are like weird about it, like, it's on them, it's not on you. What's your question?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, because I guess one of the things I was also kind of sitting here thinking about is the order that people, like, where you're at on someone's story thread on their feed. And maybe understanding a little bit more about that, because I was just looking at it, because I think that's also the thing is, like, if they follow you, they still may not necessarily see your stories, because I was just scrolling over and I literally have, like, I'm scrolling, and there's shitloads of people who I will never see their story because I only give it so much time in my day, so I can't watch everybody's stories. And so I think that's something that for us to think about too, is how you're interacting, because I think it is based on those likes and those comments. So make sure that that's also maybe part of what you're doing too, is making sure that that connection piece is happening. Because the more that you are doing likes and comments and other things, I think, on people's posts is going to be how Instagram is going to determine where you're at in their story feed, so that they're seeing what you're posting. And that would be like also maybe applying your 5-3-1 when you're finding followers, so that when you do get a follow back, that your stories are getting in front of somebody new because you've liked their posts, you've commented on some of their posts, and then you followed them. So I don't know if that is actually how it works, but I was just thinking you kind of have to understand how you're getting in front of these people, because they don't have necessarily hours to watch stories. You want to actually get your stories in front of them.
I think it has to do too for, like, because the people whose stories are on the top of my feed and who I see are the people whose photos that I like and comment on, and whose stories that I seek out. So that being said, like, it is important to make sure you're interacting with those people, because social media is called social media for a reason. They want people to be social. So that's important. But that's also why geotagging is cool, and you can also hashtag your
Mhm.
stories to get more eyes on them too.
I will go ahead and post this link about the algorithm though in the team call comments in case anybody wants to go look at it and read about it, because I found a recent article and I was just like, oh, this is interesting. That might make a little bit more sense to someone who doesn't really know what they're doing wrong in terms of gaining the following and stuff.
Yeah, and Shelby said the algorithm needs words, at least 5 words, not emojis. I think that's to weed out robots and stuff, because there's all these paid features out there that will comment and stuff. And so when you're using words, then you obviously can't just blast everyone with your, I don't know, Instagram robot. I did have one. Is that I'm having feedback. Do I sound okay?
You sound
to you guys? Okay, it was weird. I heard a weird feedback. I did have one girl she's actually a discount coach of mine, and I did her hair, and she told me that she'd wake up in the morning and have her coffee and watch all her stories from beginning to end, everyone that she followed. And I was like, whoa, I don't know how many people she follows, but I was like, people do that? I don't know. She's also unemployed, so maybe she has more time. But I was like, I can't even imagine. I'd be here all day. I was watching everyone I follow. But we also are on, as coaches, I think we're on our stories a lot more than the average Joe. But I don't know if that was
one thing too, and I realize sometimes, because I definitely have those few people whose stories I seek out and who I enjoy watching every day and who pop up on my feed, but sometimes I'll think I close out of people's stories and I don't, and I'll think I've closed out of it and my phone will keep going and I'll be in the other room and then I'll realize people are still talking because they just keep playing. If you're watching somebody's, it just goes to the next one, and I was like, yeah, I never see this person's story because I never watch it or I never interact with them. So that's interesting. But I feel like this was a good call. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything?
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is my first team call, and today I just posted my coming out video and photo. It was very, very nerve-wracking, but it felt really good. Has anybody had issues with the stories not it just jumbled my stories, and it was so frustrating. It took me 3 different times, and finally by the 3rd time I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna post it and then put a little note in the end and say I hope you get the gist of this, because it just jumbled all of it. But has anybody used IGTV or anything like that? And I don't know, I just feel like that's going to be really frustrating with me if I kind of get in the groove of talking and finally have the courage to talk, and then when I talk it's all fucked up.
I think that I've only had that happen a few times. So no, that's normally just a glitch, and you can make sure the app is updated and everything. But one thing I have noticed is that it's a new Instagram thing that they'll cut you off after 4 videos. So know that every 4 talking videos, they'll make you start over again.
Okay.
So you can only do up to 4 talking videos at a time. I was getting really frustrated, and it took me a while to figure out, and then I heard somebody else say it and I was like, oh, that's what's happening. So you can only do 4 talking videos at a time. But you could do an IGTV too. I haven't played around with that too much. I know Amber has, but you can go live. There's so many different things that you can do, but I wouldn't get too just sometimes there's glitches in that, and it's just a learning curve, and sometimes you just whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to add to, well, first of all, congratulations. That's exciting. Yeah. And what I was going to say, sometimes when if I have a bad internet connection, it'll sometimes upload, it'll seem like it's out of order. And then once they're all up, it'll fix the order. So I've noticed before where I'm like, why did that one post? And it'll be seen. And it's say it's the second video out of the 4 videos I'm uploading. It'll post that there's already some on it, but then by the time all 4 are up, it's fixed itself. Okay. So maybe there was a couple people that saw it out of order. I've noticed that's happened, and that's just sometimes when internet's being weird.
Okay, good to know.
Oh, and I was gonna say IGTV is cool. I want to do it more because it's starting to suggest it. I keep getting like people's IG stories suggested to me, and I like that you can make it a post as well. So then people can like get a snippet like on your your main feed. They'll see the IGTV, and then it'll say like see more, and then you can like click to it. And then if you do an IGTV, you can also share it to your stories. So then there's like a little like it'll say like see more, and like I don't know, it just takes people back and forth. It like guides them through. And you can like create like I did one like a getting ready one, and so I made like a template on Canva or something, like a little picture, and then you can pick your like cover photo, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to do them because then it's like a highlight that's like in your feed. Because there has been times where I have found someone that I thought was interesting, and I've like sought out a video because like I wanted to hear their voice. Like I like hearing people's voices and seeing them talk. So I think it's a good idea.
I know that I just started doing IGTV, and I feel like I like those a little bit more than stories because stories are so short that I feel like I have to word vomit in the stories to get my point out, where IGTV I think is like 10 minutes. Where you can like really get your point across, and then like Amber was saying, you can just like save it right to your page.
Erica, I saw your comment about that. So Erica said something on the topic of IG. She read somewhere that IG might be getting away with showing how many likes you get on a post. And I heard that too, but I'm sure they're just like I've heard that they're messing around with it, but I don't think that that's something that's going to stick. I think Instagram like comes out with different things and they play around with it, but I'm sure if it does happen, it's just something you'll have to adapt to. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm just worried about the day to day. But yeah. I mean, and things are changing with the algorithm all the time. All the freaking time. We just have to kind of like keep up to date. Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that. I heard that the other day and then I just didn't think anything of it because you never know. Never know. But yeah. I don't know if anybody has anything else. But
well, thanks guys. This is a great call. I love hearing from all you guys. And if anyone has any ideas like for the future, like calls you guys want, like topics you want to like explore, or just things you want me and Kate to do trainings on, or even just things in general that you want to learn more about, because me and Kate would also like to get other like guest speakers too, eventually. So, and now that we've had like more participation, like we can start reaching out to like other leaders in our upline and stuff, or in our team. So yeah, just let us know if you ever think of an idea or just something you want to explore. I really liked when we did that joint call with Jacqueline Bender, so that would be cool to do again. Yeah, that was cool. We did like a team collab call. I like couldn't be on that. I feel like Violet was having a hard time that night, so I was like barely there, but I do like that idea a lot. So yeah, we could totally talk to other teams. I mean, because me and Kate are in the Diamond Roundtable, Amy's Diamonds. So there's like all of Amy's downline diamonds are in there. So we could always talk to people in there about who wants to do like a joint call.
And I know Kate, because Kate couldn't be on there because Jack, her baby, was fussy. So she wanted to do one where she could be on there too. But her and Jackie are down to do another one. So yeah, I mean, just more stuff like that. Like, and the more you guys are hopping on live, the more we can do stuff like that too.
Cool.
But thank you guys. I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll get this recording up soon. And I'll also share those examples in the team call thread that I showed earlier. So have a good night.
Bye guys.